My ex-husband left me for my best friend. My sister wants to take revenge.
Go for the throat.
Trigger warning for animal abuse. I, 33 female, was in a relationship with my ex-husband, 35 male, for 12 years, married for 2. He was a couple years ahead of me in high school, and we started dating the week before I turned 16. For the most part, our relationship was very good, but around college, things became stressful. His family was very conservative, and I was very liberal. He was a more left-leaning moderate, and so it wasn't as much of an issue between us, but there was definitely a lot of sucking it up around some of his family members. By the way, this comes from Prof. Confused on the Charlotte YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, the thing about him was he was a very smart person who just never actually achieved his full potential for one reason or another. He would have a lot of good ideas, would talk about and did open various businesses, but they would eventually crumble and he'd go back to doing what he always did, work for his parents or within his network. He wanted to believe he was better than he was, but he never did anything to actually prove it or be better. He just expected people to recognize his brilliance in advance. He was very charming and charismatic, so it worked when we were in high school and college. Not so much afterwards when he entered the workforce.
See, I see this because I am similar to this.
Yeah.
When you enter the workforce, you have to do it in a different way.
Yeah.
Plus, and if you're in a comfortable situation, like, you know, I could work for my family sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be comfortable. I wouldn't like it, but I'd be comfortable. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Exactly.
I don't think he put himself there.
Exactly. Yeah, he kind of settled and he was like, people should just think that I'm brilliant.
And give me the opportunities instead of
Looking
working it or showing value first.
Exactly.
Because you showed value for your brother's podcast for like 3 years.
Yes.
And then
I
you were
worked
like,
for free.
Yep. And then now,
For 3 years.
look where you're at.
Here. I wanted to go to graduate school as soon as I finished my undergrad work. He insisted it was a terrible idea because I had so many student loans already, and I should pay those off before going into more debt. He wanted to move back to his family and work for his mom, and I reluctantly agreed it probably made financial sense. They lived in a very rural area, and finding work was difficult, and often I'd have to drive 45 minutes or an hour and a half plus to get to work every day. I didn't have any friends in the area, and the only people I could really spend time with were his family. I did love them despite our differences, especially his dad, but there was a lot of chafing. My dad retired at one point and offered to use some of his pension to pay both mine and my then boyfriend's student loans. I was ecstatic. I've been drowning under over $1,000 a month payments, and it was literally a lifeline.
Whew.
You're wow.
$1,000 in payments
It's
a month.
crazy that your dad offered to pay for both your payments and your boyfriend's loans.
I thought it was his.
No, it's OP's dad.
Wow.
He was going to use his pension to pay off OP's and her boyfriend's student loans.
Also, what's chafing mean?
Like rubbing against.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that is very generous.
Once the loans were paid off, I brought up graduate school. I wanted to get my PhD. It was important to me. My boyfriend insisted he didn't want to move, that he had a job here and his family was here and he couldn't afford our household on his own if I was a full-time student. I looked at the universities nearby, but we couldn't afford it, so I agreed to put it on hold until we were more financially stable. I should mention, at the same time all of this was going on, I was writing books. I wanted to be an author, so I was constantly writing short stories, novellas, etc., in hopes of one day selling traditionally. My boyfriend never read anything I wrote and insisted it was a nepotism game and I'd never sell something, so it was a foolish dream. Really messed up that he never read anything you wrote. Like, I can't imagine being with a partner who, like, never read anything I wrote.
Yeah, or like...
As a person who writes.
Or never watched a YouTube video you were on.
Never came to one of my shows.
That's not supporting. He's not supporting you. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Dang, am I supporting my girlfriend? She made me a tote bag and I barely take it out. Because it's so special to me.
It's so special.
I ruined so many things.
You can't take it out.
I can't.
I kept doing it anyway. I love to write. I met my best friend while writing. I was looking for a translation for something and she offered to translate it for me. We kept talking after that and we became very close. She lived in France and we texted each other every day for hours a day. She kept me company during very long days at work where I had nothing to do but wait for an email or phone to ring.
I see you.
Because there was no one local I could really be friends with, she became my only real contact that I had.
And
I
they're-
loved her dearly.
Sorry, are they in France right now?
Yeah.
I see you.
No, the friend lived in France. I don't know if
Oh,
OP's in
still,
France.
I see you.
Okay.
Fringe activities are about to happen.
Fringe activities. After my boyfriend and I were together for 10 years? You were with him for 10 years and he never read any of your writing?
He didn't have the time. He was too busy looking for people to see his opportunities and his potential.
Yikes. We agreed to get married. I invited my best friend to be my maid of honor and she flew over from France. We still had no money, and because of various tensions with family members, we basically eloped. It was just me, my boyfriend turned husband, his best friend, and mine. We went to the courthouse, exchanged private vows separately at a park, went for a lovely long walk across a beautiful bridge, and had sushi for dinner. It was lovely at the time, barely costing more than a few $100s. Though in retrospect, I do miss the fact I never got a proper wedding, and wonder if the lack of care leading up to it meant more than it seemed at the time. His mother, who knew all about this in advance, did not agree. She refused to speak or see me afterwards because of the disrespect. She never told us she didn't approve of us getting eloped, but she blamed me for the wedding anyway. While we did interact afterwards, it was always very strained and even worse than it had been before. Always subtle digs and clear signs she did not like me, despite me being in their family and living by them for over a decade at this point. My husband respected her opinion greatly, so her lack of affection only further caused strain between us.
Dude, I almost got in a relationship like this. Family.
Did not like me.
I don't know. People comment below. My thought is if your family doesn't if the partner's family doesn't like you, limiting contact.
Yeah.
So you're not exposed to that resentment every time.
All the time.
Because do you know how many little wedges it takes to break open a rock?
One.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. One big one. Yes.
One big one.
But
A lot
whenever
of
you have a
small
lot of small ones that every day
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
guess what's
And-
going to happen to the rock?
Like a shatter.
Gonna
I
split.
feel like this is a test.
No, you're right.
What happens to rocks? I don't know.
Your rock knowledge is very limited. Sophia.
Limited. Rocks. Throughout all of this, my husband's work life was complicated. His mom's company sold, so he started working at a wedding venue. He'd run bar on weekend weddings and do groundskeeping work at the venue during the week off and on. It meant that I'd be working full-time, 9 to 5, not including the 1.5-hour commute, Monday through Friday. And he'd be working 12-hour or more shifts over the weekend and do very little during the week. If I asked to do something, go out to dinner, take a walk, visit some colleagues that I was becoming friendly with and hoping to make friends with, visit my own family that happened to be around, he was always busy on weekends and he was too tired during the week.
How is he too tired during the week?
Yeah, you need, after 2 12-hour shifts, I feel like you need like 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Or
I
recover,
don't know.
but
We do 2 12-hour shifts a week. Like, yeah, maybe he's doing more on his feet, but it's at a bar, so it's not
Yeah.
like super, like, you know, he's not doing the groundskeeping work for 12 hours.
Also, I think your activity outside of where you work also
Yeah.
reflects how tired you are. Because I feel like the more you do outside of your work, like I've gotten more energy recently because I'm working out more.
Yeah. I have less energy because I haven't been able to work out.
Yeah, so
Dang shoulder.
that's my thought. This, again, not supporting you.
Yeah.
You want to do these things? Lack of support.
I felt very isolated and alone. We already had one dog and cat, but the dog was my husband's, and he refused to let me do anything with her because she was his dog.
You guys are married. What?
So I got a dog for myself and adored him. I took my dog everywhere, and while it wasn't the best dog in the world, he was my dog and my buddy. My husband hated my dog. He constantly put him down, called him stupid, insisted he was my responsibility and mine alone. If my dog threw up in the middle of the night and my husband noticed it while going to the bathroom, he would wake me up and tell me to clean up my dog's mess. If my dog chewed garbage, it was my dog and my problem. I would always take care of things if his dog caused trouble, but my dog was my responsibility. And yes, when he was upset, he did hit or throw my dog across the room. I excuse this behavior because he would always tell me he didn't hit the dog that hard and that he had to be an alpha and it wasn't really harmful because he never hit me. What?
No, there's different ways to be an alpha to a dog.
I'm sorry. He hit and threw the dog across the room. That's full on animal abuse.
Yeah. Also,
Leave that man. And also his excuse of, oh, well, it's fine because I didn't hit the dog that hard and I've never hit you. Concerning. Super concerning.
Because first I'd probably hit you and then the dog.
Yeah, he's like, well, I haven't. Like, imagine telling someone that. Like, imagine telling your friend. They were like, oh my God, he hits the dog. And you're like, no, don't worry, because he said he didn't hit me, so it's fine. I'd be like, he said what?
Dude, girl.
Why would he even bring that up?
You should see clearly now. The red flag's there.
Yes. But over time, I was very aware of the fact that my husband was becoming angrier and angrier. And I would be doing what I could not to make him mad and worried about what would be the next thing that would set him off. You are in an abusive relationship.
There you go. Definition right there.
And it's going to be really hard to get out of because you can't see that right now. But I really hope that you have a support system around you. My husband would continue to say he hated his job, but when it came to looking for other jobs, he would only submit one application at a time and wait to hear back rather than doing batch submissions. He refused to let me look at his resume, even though I consistently always was hired very quickly when I transitioned to increasingly more high-paying jobs to try to cover our bills. He would create businesses, I would cover bills and try to manage things and always offer support. His businesses continued to fail because he just never did anything to actually get out and market himself appropriately. So he'd continue working at the wedding venue, but complain nonstop about it. It was exhausting. Time went on and politics became politics. And after Trump was first elected president, my husband decided he didn't want to stay in the country anymore and we should think of immigrating. He told me that the best way to get a visa was to be a student and suggested I could finally go to graduate school so we could start an immigration process elsewhere. I was ecstatic and looked up all the foreign universities that had programs I really wanted to take. He vetoed almost all of them. Leave him and then go to those foreign universities.
The only pattern that I see that this relationship is working is when he's using you.
Yes. Yeah, when he wants something, he's like, okay, you can go to university because I want to leave the country.
Yeah.
He vetoed almost all of them, explaining where he wanted to live and what lifestyle he wanted. No cities, no big infrastructures. He wanted to stay rural.
Dude, what are you going to do?
Also, you're not going to find a graduate school. It's going to be very hard to find a graduate school in a rural area.
Unless you do it online.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone, hey, I'm going to go to the University of China, but I'm going to do it online.
Yeah, crazy. He selected the area he wanted to move to, and I said that the universities there had only course-adjacent things to the topic that I wanted to study, medieval history. There were history programs, but nothing I had originally been interested in. He insisted, though, and since it felt like the only way to both move and get the degree I wanted, I agreed to apply. I was accepted at both schools I applied to, and we selected one school and we moved. Why? So frustrating. I don't want you to do this for him. Leave for yourself.
Yeah.
I was given a full ride for the university, but because I wasn't working, I took out a student loan to cover my living expenses over the 2 years to get my MA. My husband said he would look for work. While all of this was going on, my best friend and I continued to be very close, and now you're presumably close. I don't know where you guys moved to, but
Yeah, I would say physically
presumably closer.
Probably not by much.
Yeah,
but definitely
like now maybe in Europe.
Instead of halfway across the world, you're just now
A couple countries away in
a
Europe.
couple countries away.
And my husband and her started to get close as well. Oh no.
Like I said, French
Oh,
activities.
no. We'd play online video games together and chat constantly. But I noticed in the year before we moved out of the country that she started talking to me less and less, and to him more and more. Because of the time difference, I would be working while she was off work in France. He'd be home during the weekdays, and so they'd start playing video games together. She stopped texting me during my workday because she was playing games with him. I mentioned I felt sad because, hey, you're my friend and I'm working a receptionist job. It would be nice to have someone to talk to while waiting for a phone to ring. But I was also of the belief that it wasn't fair to monopolize anyone's time, and if she and my husband were friends, that was good, right? We can all be friends together. And since I trusted them both, bad idea, then it didn't matter if they enjoyed spending time with each other. I was just being jealous for no reason.
And I wonder how you thought that way.
Oh, man.
It's as if there was a light that was powered by gas. And your husband
Yup.
gave it to you.
And he's really good. He's really good at using it. Still, I started to feel left out. Yeah, rightfully so. My friend also was having personal issues with her lady parts. I won't go into detail here, but she would discuss them with me in detail for a while, and I would try to comfort her, but after a while, I felt very uncomfortable with her describing the specific details of her parts to me, and I very awkwardly eventually asked her not to discuss it with me. My husband felt it was unfair that I was withdrawing my support from her when she needed that support. I think she needs a gynecologist.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll take a look. If it was one person. Sorry, that's just a joke, they say. They made t-shirts of this.
And that if I was a real friend, I should be there for her since she had no one else.
Bro.
You're not her gynecologist.
Yeah, dude. Also, you're doing it again.
You're doing it.
Anytime you need something from your wife, you're giving it to her.
Yeah, it's like, you should be there. And because you're not there, I'll be there for her.
Well, he's probably like, I don't want to hear about these girl parts. You gotta.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Do it. He asked if I was comfortable with him still discussing the issues with her.
Like I said, she's got a cave, and somebody's need to park in there. You need somebody to park in there.
Terrible. And I told him I was still uncomfortable, but I eventually agreed because I felt so guilty about withdrawing support from her.
Wow, the
Gaslighting. Girl, he just asked you if he could talk about her, like,
her
whoa,
vajayjay.
that is totally inappropriate.
But babe, I think I can help her.
I want to be. I realized I have a great passion to be a gynecologist.
All of a sudden,
but I think I'm gonna do freelance. Our conversations continued to dwindle. When we moved and I started graduate work, it was even worse.
Dude, I'm sorry. I see t-shirt potential here.
Freelance gynecologist. My husband's previous work ethic continued. He sent out 1 or 2 applications, but never heard back. And he started complaining about how he was getting immigrant jobs, like being waitstaff or box moving, etc. And he was better than that. Dude, you were literally working as a bartender before. What other experience do you have?
Didn't you see? He has so much potential, and people just assume he doesn't have it, but he does. And they should assume that he does have potential and just give it to him because he's really smart.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It's literally the same excuses he was using back home.
Different ball game, man.
Except now he has a different excuse. He's saying, oh, because I'm an immigrant in this country. That's why. Dude, I think it's just you.
No, you're also from the United States, and you have so many more other resources and opportunities that other people haven't had, so you can also use that.
Yep.
You could literally
your student loans paid off, dude.
Yeah, you could literally learn another language and be a second language teacher or whatever. You can do that.
He insisted how unfair it was. He was a white male American. He had a BA in criminal justice. He absolutely could have gotten a better job, but he kept refusing to let me help with his CV, and he would not batch submit for work.
He's not trying at all.
He just one application, then wait 4 weeks before submitting another. They spent all day chatting with each other. Yeah, he's not spending any time trying to find jobs. I'd be in school all day and then come home to write papers and study. My loans paid all our bills. They did invite me to play a game with them, but I hated the game they were playing and I needed to study. So I just gave up and tapped out. But I got more and more resentful because I never got to spend time with either of them anymore while they were playing online games together. They're cheating on you.
Yep.
On our 12-year anniversary, I can't believe you've been together with him for 12 years.
No, I need a pit stop. What is this man about to pull on your 12-year anniversary?
Your 12-year anniversary.
Is he about to come out with a secret? Does he have a new plan? Is he going to go to France now?
Yeah, he's like, I have to. Well, I think they might be in France because they're hanging out so much with this woman. So
I thought it was just virtually.
No, they're hanging out in person.
What?
I think so.
What?
Yeah. Unless I misread that. I'm pretty sure they're hanging out in person.
I thought it was just video games. If they're hanging out in person, dude, we already know what's happening.
Maybe they are hanging out virtually.
Oh, no.
That's, maybe that makes more sense.
I don't know. But I do. Girl, I don't. What does OP need? I mean, I know she knows. She keeps saying then boyfriend, but what's her line here, you know?
Oh, yeah. They played online video games.
Okay. So definitely emotionally cheating. Definitely being on Discord servers overnight saying my little kitten.
Yeah.
He's definitely telling her, about how he's aspiring to be a freelance gynecologist and all the things he's looking to help her out with.
She's like, oh, I'll be your first client.
Sign me up.
Not good. Not good. On our 12-year anniversary,
Ah,
my husband and I went out to a restaurant, and he couldn't stop bringing her up. I furiously asked if we could go one night without mentioning her name,
oh gosh.
and he said I was acting irrationally.
Don't be rash.
She's his friend too, and how is it fair that he can't mention his friends around me? I felt like she wasn't my friend anymore, and I admittedly called her a witch and several names that weren't nice because I was so resentful of how they were treating me. I was told again I was overreacting, they were being nothing but nice to me, and they were allowed to be friends. It wasn't fair to isolate them when they were doing nothing wrong. I was also reminded that it was my fault for not being a better support for my friend. She was only talking to him more because she needed help with her medical issue. He's not a doctor.
Yeah, he is. He's a freelance gynecologist,
He's a freelance
Sophia.
gynecologist. And I already told them both that I didn't want to discuss her issue. So it was on me for giving permission for them to speak, and on me for getting upset when they were doing exactly what I told them. I felt more guilty. Gaslighting. She came to visit us a week later for my birthday, and everything felt awkward and sour. My husband admitted he hated living in the country we're in and suggested that we look at moving to France. I wonder why.
No.
What's in France?
way.
Shock.
French
Wow.
activities.
Maybe he can professionally become a gynecologist in France.
Dude, you're not going to get a job there. You don't know French. I know that.
Man doesn't know a thing.
He doesn't.
He doesn't know a thing.
Oh, dude, I have so many thoughts about this guy.
I was so exhausted by his refusal to look for work and everything else that I just said. I'm only half a semester into my degree. We can't move to France right now. He suggested he could go first, check it out, and we could look into moving later.
Stop it. Stop. We already, stop.
Uh-huh.
Dude,
Yeah, maybe he has a place to stay already.
bro.
Maybe he has a bed to share already. I just said fine.
Oh my gosh,
He
girl.
and she would return to France together. He'd look at the area and see if it suited our needs, and he'd report back if he liked it. He booked a flight on her plane out, and the departure at the airport was excruciatingly depressing. A few days later, he texted me how happy he was there and how I'd love it. I told him I missed him, and after a pause, he told me he didn't miss me.
Oh my gosh.
I hung up on him, and he texted me that he wanted a divorce.
No. And I bet you $10 he bought a one-way ticket there.
Yeah.
One-way ticket to France.
It was the start of finals week for my first term in graduate school. He literally just wanted a ticket into the country. He wanted to use you to get a visa here.
He did all that, and now you're stuck halfway through a semester doing something he suggested to make him happy, and you're stuck with that.
He gave me a list of my faults. I didn't clean the house the way he preferred. I didn't brush my teeth good enough. I brushed them with neurotic attention because he kept hounding me about it. He hated the pets. He felt like I wanted a caretaker more than a husband. I admit to not cleaning or cooking much, but I was working nonstop, and my loans were what kept us afloat. Yeah, he wasn't doing anything. He played video games throughout the work week, and I'd come home to find him continuing to play games with my friend. I could have cleaned and done more, but honestly, he was already home, and I felt like he could at least keep the house clean. He insisted he wasn't having an affair. Right, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. No French activities.
At the time, I really wanted to believe him. Even so, I texted my friend I never wanted to speak to her again. I also asked him if I could keep all the pets, including his dog, since I did love her, and he agreed by saying, if you're going to extort me for the dog, then fine, take her. He doesn't care about his dog. I thanked him and moved on. The only other thing I asked for is that he tell me when his father passes, because I loved his father very much and even called him Dad. He agreed and asked me for $4,000. I just said yes because I was tired.
What?
He said, yeah, I'll tell you if my dad passes, but you have to pay me $4,000.
Dude.
Stop agreeing to everything he does.
Oh my gosh.
Stop it. Stop.
Dude, what?
This man's a freaking cheater.
Hey,
He sucks.
We're breaking up. Could you also just give me $4,000? by the
Please.
way?
And you just said yes? You didn't have to say yes.
Well, technically, he was there to give her support and clean the house and cook. Remember that?
He didn't do any of that, though.
Yeah, he did. Don't you remember?
Yeah,
Don't you remember,
gaslighter.
Sophia? This whole story's been about that. Like, that's how much gaslighting has been going on. Where he
Yep.
he. How can you break up with someone, move to another country with her friend and then get 4K? How does he have this kind of control?
It's crazy. He said we would absolutely stay in touch and still be friends afterwards. Okay, I believe him. We finalized the divorce at the end of February 2020. Yay, the vid. I was forced to move back in with my parents. They had a secondary home nearby after also working to immigrate. Because of the vid, I just did my studies long distance. Then I find out that my student loan payment was not enough to give him 4K. Also, I don't even think you could give him that 4K from a student loan payment. Student loan payments are for student loans, not for whatever he's using them for.
He actually, don't you remember his freelance gynecologist
Yeah.
courses he's taking?
Yeah,
He needs
right.
$4,000 to help his friend.
He gotta help his friend.
He's got to. How selfish. How selfish of you
How
not to get
selfish of you,
$4,000.
OP. I told him I didn't have the money to give it to him. He didn't even let me explain why. He just ended the call. I never spoke to him again. So much for being friends. OP, you need therapy so desperately.
Dude, she doesn't even know.
She doesn't even know. Like, why would you
What?
want to be friends with this crazy man?
What?
And then in the span of a year, all 3 pets passed away. One of them very suddenly. Aside from my parents, I was very alone with no friends in a foreign country, trying to complete my graduate studies, feeling betrayed by the people I love most in the world. I fell into a deep depression. Work became the only thing I could do in order to function because it kept me from thinking about anything else. I was one of the few people who completed their MA on time during the vid at my university because I just didn't give myself time to stop. I finished with a 4.0 in a degree I hadn't even wanted to get in the first place. I was now a medical historian rather than a medieval historian.
But babe, this
It's
is
like the same thing.
this is what the boyfriend said.
But babe, they both start with M. Just become a medical
It's the same
historian.
thing.
It's the same thing.
I kept working. I tried getting into a PhD program, and very few universities were accepting new students because of the vid. Someone I had applied to forwarded me an application for a project that was completely different from everything I'd ever done. Still in medical history, but so extremely contemporary that it was nothing close to my research profile. I submitted an application anyway because, unlike my husband, I always submit to jobs and make a decision after I got hired. I got hired. It was in France. Dude, stop. I moved to France in October 2021, taught myself a language I didn't speak, took care of a home without a caretaker husband, adopted a new pupper so I could finally no longer be alone after the huge losses of 2020 and 2021. A pup that has never and will never be treated the way my ex treated my old dog. I mean, again, if you have a partner who's mistreating your animals, please don't
Yeah,
stay
there-
with that
there are
partner.
bigger
Get
things.
that animal out of that situation.
There are bigger things coming. Please break up with him too.
And yesterday, I defended my PhD, ranked very good and excellent, and with an enthusiastic jury encouraging me to publish and to transition into public policy work. It's work I'm genuinely excited about, and it's focused in a domain where I can do a lot of global health good. And while all this was going on, because I continued to write novels in 2023, I submitted a novel to a literary agent, got a deal, and sold it to a Big 5 publisher.
Oh wow.
It was just published last month, and my advance is enough to pay off all of my outstanding student loans. So far, reviews are going well. Heck yeah, man.
This is just a fever
This
dream.
is great.
Not like a fever dream, but this, like
Yeah.
what just
Everything
happened?
really turned around for OP.
See, okay. Remember whenever the boyfriend was like, I have so much potential, I'm so smart,
Yeah.
and she said that? I was like, in order for you to actually achieve that, you need to have like a downfall
Drive.
of or drive or
Yeah.
downfall of some sort for you to achieve that.
Yeah.
This is what
she's
happened
hit-
to OP.
Yeah, she hit kind of rock bottom, was treated terribly by people around her, was
Yeah.
not pursuing any of her own dreams for like, what she wanted to do. And then hit this rock bottom moment and was like, I have the drive to actually get myself out of it, and did.
And did, because when you're rock bottom, what's the only way to go?
Up.
Please let me in.
No.
That's right. Dude, it's crazy. The whole time you were
Yeah.
the smart and intelligent one.
Yeah,
Not
man.
him.
He was just putting you down. My 2 major life goals have been accomplished between 1 month of each other, and I have made a new list of goals to achieve that I'm very much looking forward to working on. To no one's surprise, my ex-husband and ex-best friend are married to each other.
Ow!
They got married a year after our divorce. He is listed as working at a business where he fabricates clothing or some sort. The man never once picked up a needle in all our time working together. I almost guarantee it's another nonsense business he made up. There's no marketing, No signs, no way to contact the store, no storefront. It's a joke. But he's living in France. We're on opposite sides of the country. I've not run into either of them. I hope they're very happy together. My one burning moment of rage was only this. I discovered his dad passed last year on my own. No one told me.
Dang.
No one reached out. I guess he was still bitter that he lost $4,000. He didn't lose $4,000. He never had $4,000.
He just said, I wonder if I can just get $4,000 from this chick.
And you almost gave it to him.
That does suck. Having to learn. I'm surprised you didn't stay in contact with like his mom though.
Yeah, well, maybe the mom's not around or like passed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would have gave him the responsibility to do that.
Yeah.
I'd probably reach out to his sister.
Something like that.
Some sort of
Yeah,
family member.
Not him. But it broke my heart, and I definitely cried. This is where the question comes in. My sister loathes my ex-husband. She wants nothing more than to take a copy of my dissertation and my book and mail it to him. His address is publicly listed because of this fake business of him, and tell him just how stupid he was for constantly diminishing me this whole time. She wants to list all of his flaws and rake him through the coals for his behavior. By the way, I'd rake you guys through the coals if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
Yeah.
Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story.
Should she do it?
I don't think so. I think you should. You are in a great place. You got this book published. You got the dissertation. You're happy living in France on your own. You got your sister supporting you. Don't bring him back into your life.
You're punching thin air, dude.
He's gone. Let him stay gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, how much hold and gaslighting he put OP through, he could probably do it again and re-enter into her life.
I don't want him to come back and see that she's successful and be like, oh my God, like I would love to, like I've always loved you, blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like OP would take him back.
Yeah.
Don't let him worm his way back into your life, OP. Let him stay gone.
Yeah. Honestly, sister, write the letter, send it to some address. Don't send it to him.
Don't send it.
Do
send
not
it to
send it
some
to him.
random address.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they're like,
What is this?
And then you have a link to the post below it. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, wow, okay.
Interesting.
This makes so much sense.
Yeah, they're like, wow, this is a good book.
Commenter here, hey, I actually got the book and letter, and that was a lot.
But there is a little bit left. A part of me is happy to let her do it and rub my accomplishments and my success in their faces, but another part of me doesn't want the drama that it might punt up. Yeah, don't. I don't have anything nice to say to them. I do hope they'll be happy together, since clearly it was worth ruining my life at the time for their happiness.
Gosh.
It's a miracle I pulled through as well as I did, but I also don't want to be aware of them anymore. And somehow, I feel like this will just make things messy. Then again, after all the time I've been put down, it's nice to have someone stand up for me. And there is a part of me that can't help thinking he could have had everything he wanted if he just stayed patient. We could be living in France together, having a beautiful life with a PhD that I've grown to love and cherish and be proud of, and a book deal that's helping to fund my lifestyle. But instead, he was a failure of a partner and a man, and he deserves to be ashamed.
He didn't want that life with you.
The thing is that you were never going to get that life with him if you stayed with him. Like, there was no patience. He would have brought you down with him.
I still feel hints of OP hoping that it worked out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
yeah, she's not over him.
She was with him for 12 years.
That's true. So would I be the a-hole if I let my sister go through with her plan?
This is your, what?
It wouldn't be the a-hole, but it wouldn't be good. Be the a-hole to yourself.
This isn't revenge.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything.
We clickbaited you.
Nothing. It feels like you just want him back.
We clickbaited ourselves,
Dang.
too. Yeah.
It literally just feels like you want to send it to Tim so that he realizes that he made a mistake and that
comes crawling back.
You're really the love of his life. Like, don't try and lure him back.
She needs to go fall in love, not like with another person.
Man.
Or French man. But she just needs to fall in love with life and fall in love with other things. My ex-boyfriend repeatedly cheated on me. Now he wants another chance.
Nope. Bye.
Bye.
I have no definite proof that he actually went any further than matching with women on dating apps.
That's cheating.
Because he deleted everything. Backstory. We've been together exclusively for 6 months, but have been seeing each other for 10. There have been many instances where I've caught him lying directly to my face about how he knows someone while we were not exclusive. He would tell me a girl he follows is just a friend of a friend, when I really knew he met her on a dating app. He also tells me I was the only girl he was talking to, when I knew that wasn't true. By the way, this comes from Throwaway59, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So yesterday evening, I had a disgusting feeling. I felt so gross. I felt such a bad feeling that something was off. I had never once gone through his phone or pried into his private life. Wait, aren't you a part of his private life?
Yeah. I think just meaning like on his private like stuff.
Got it. While he was out getting groceries, I checked his email. Since it was logged into my laptop once, he had emails from Tinder indicating he had new matches for months.
He had emails from Tinder? Man was
Dude.
getting emails from Tinder?
I get emails from Duolingo saying I need to do stuff. Like, this is just marketing for apps. If they got your email, they'll just do whatever they can.
Crazy.
Months. We were together. If a Tinder account is inactive for more than 7 days, you're not visible to others. So, there should be no reason this is happening. I should have just waited for him to get to my house to confront him, but I couldn't hold it in. So I FaceTimed him and asked him to go through his phone. By the way, you can FaceTime someone and also go through their phone while FaceTiming.
That's true.
I was FaceTiming Angie one time, and I was like, here, let me like control your phone so I can like do something, like edit something while she was editing the video. And I was like, wait, I could literally be on FaceTime with you and go through your phone while you're there, and I don't have to be there.
That's crazy.
I was like, dude.
Do you have games on your phone?
Dude, there's someone that has done that.
Probably.
Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
He had to re-download Tinder, where I saw he had matches as recent as 8 days ago. I was on a business trip 8 days ago. He swore up and down that he didn't have the app while I was gone, despite having 2 matches from that time.
Come on. Like, I feel like we always read these cheating stories and they're like, oh no, I don't know why it must be a glitch. No.
Someone hacked my phone.
No, it was you.
Ah, but I didn't do it. I told him to come to my house immediately. As soon as he walks inside, he tells me he deleted his Tinder account because he's serious about me and never wants to use the app again.
Y'all been dating. What do you mean he's serious about you? You were dating. You were officially dating.
He's finally got his mind made up.
He's like, I know that we've been officially dating for 6 months, but I realize now, after we have been officially dating, that I am serious.
I started thinking of my past, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be serious
I'm going to
about
be
you.
serious from now on.
Starting now.
I was furious because he knew I wanted to look through it myself. Who knows what else could have been deleted? Here's his original story. He downloaded Tinder twice throughout the beginning of our relationship. Never kept it any longer than a day, and was never really on it. He said he wasn't thinking when he did it, and it was just an ego thing for him. He swore he never responded to messages, sent any messages, or met up with anyone. I have no proof of that because he deleted his account. I didn't find anything in his text messages. He said he wasn't swiping on anyone. He would just see the name of someone who liked him, swipe right on her, and just wait for her to send him a message. Here's what I got him to admit. He re-downloaded Tinder at least 10 times while we were together.
Done. Break up. Bye. You're done. I don't want to see you around these parts anymore, son.
What? He said he would do it when he was bored at work, and he wasn't thinking. You know how much thought it takes to go on your app, search up a word in the search bar, and hit buttons?
Come on. Come on. He wasn't thinking.
You know what I have to do that requires zero thinking? Walking.
Walking.
Breathing.
Breathing.
Blinking.
Blinking. Probably it would have been easier to text your girlfriend if you were bored. I don't know. If you're feeling spicy text her. I don't care. Text your girlfriend.
Yep. There you go. He said he would swipe right on women when he thought was attractive, but he would never initiate anything. He lied to me about watching porn. He told me he didn't watch it. I told him before that I don't care if he does. I just don't want to know. He constantly assured me he didn't watch it prior admitting to this. He received a message from a random woman on social media, which I found screenshots of in his camera roll, the message and profile. I asked him why he had these screenshots. He said he showed his friends. I couldn't find any proof in his messages that he actually showed them, unless he deleted it. So I have no idea what he said. He said he had no intention on telling me about the message, but decided to brag to his buddies instead. I felt so broken. I've given this man 110%, and he half-butted our whole relationship. I've had to beg for the bare minimum so many times just to find out that he's cheating on me behind my back.
Trash. Trash,
Dude.
man.
Trash. To the dump site.
Go get him a truck because he's the garbage man.
I don't know what to do.
I know what to do. Break up.
Oh, there we go.
Easy.
Wow. What? I had no
You
idea
know
that
what
was an
requires
option.
no thought? Breaking up.
Facts. Facts. We had one last conversation
I hope it was a breakup conversation.
where I just tore him apart. I told him he doesn't do anything, and he was a bad boyfriend. Bad.
And also he cheated on you.
Bad boyfriend.
You're a bad boyfriend.
And we went back to things as normal.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was like, no. No.
That's all you gotta do these days. Just tell your boyfriend he's bad.
Yeah. And he's like, you're right. You're right.
He says he can change
No, he can't.
and wants to prove to me that he can. He says he planned his whole future around us. He's so gonna do whatever he can to make it work. You gotta believe him, Sophia.
I don't believe him.
He's gonna make it work.
I don't believe him.
I told him I can't believe he's going to change because all I've known from him is half-butt effort. He said he's going to take time to change and show me that he's capable of putting an effort into something. He said he's worried he has underlying issues that are making him act this way
No.
because he's
No.
never done this before.
Ow. BS.
And Sophia, this is the best relationship he's ever had.
I hate this man. He's like, I don't know why I do these things. It
Dude,
must be something in my past.
okay. It probably wasn't a hacker.
Someone
he was
hacked my
hypnotized.
brain.
He was hypnotized, Sophia.
He's like, I went to this this magic show and I think they did something to my brain. Dude, you're the problem. Leave this man. He can't even own up to what he did. This is the best relationship I've ever had.
What are you talking about? He knows he's able to change.
Bye-bye.
He said he's going to seek professional help and quit his bad habits.
Like Tinder?
We kind of left it on an open note, like what we want to work out. But he needs to do some serious work on his end. Bad boyfriend. I don't know. I haven't done anything yet. I'm the one that's having to pick up the pieces. I got a puppy during the time we were together, and he was amazing in helping me with her. It felt so nice, like we have a little family together. It's hard coping with that loss. Where I stand, I just don't know if making it work is possible. Has anyone been in a similar position? Were you able to make it work? I just don't know if I'll ever get over the fact that I won't know. I won't know how bad it really was. I won't know if he was really telling me the truth. And
He's not telling you the truth.
I won't know the reason why he did it.
He did it because he's stupid.
Any advice is appreciated. Edit, he just submitted at least 20 times. We got an update.
Ow.
We got an update.
Ow.
Sophia's hitting herself.
Yeah, so it went from 2 to 10 to 20.
Sophia, he's changing. He's admitted his flaws. He's like getting through this.
The only thing he's changing is his profile.
Sophia, I don't really think you understand his effort he's putting into this.
I hate this man from the bottom of my heart.
Also, like in a story we read earlier today, you were as stupid as him if you continue this relationship.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be so harsh, Soapy, because I think he's manipulative. But like, girl, come on. We know what he's doing. We know he's lying.
Yep.
You don't need to know why he went on Tinder.
We already know why.
He's like wants to cheat. Cheaters just want to cheat, man. They don't need a reason.
Because the cheater's gonna cheat.
Leave this man. That's my advice for you. Leave him.
Update. I got some new information. This is my last post. He originally told me it was 10 times at the beginning of our relationship, and then he stopped. I texted him after our last conversation because it didn't add up. That's when he told me it was actually every week or every other week throughout the whole relationship, so at least 20 times. He insists it was just re-downloading the app, swiping on a few people, reading the messages, and then deleting it. No harm. He said he never messaged anyone or took it further than just the match. When he did share his screen with me, I did see that that appeared to be true, unless he unmatched with people, which he insisted he didn't, and he didn't know how to do.
He's freaking Mother Teresa. He's never told a lie. Come on.
Or Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that's maybe better.
I didn't know Mother Teresa was cool like that.
She probably told lies. I don't know.
He also admitted that he lied about the severity when he told his friends, but sent me a screenshot of him texting them and admitted he lied and then telling them the truth. They had both said they were disappointed and could feel bad for him, but they were glad he's working on himself now. This is what happened. This is what actually happened. Hey guys, so I'm going to send you a text message saying I feel bad, and I want you guys to say you're disappointed, but also that you're proud of me for working on myself.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay, now text that. I'm going to send text messages in a minute, okay?
Did you want to go?
He continues to say that he doesn't have a good reason for why he did it and that it wasn't serious at all to him, which is why he has difficulty remembering the specific dates and times he was on there.
Because he did it so many times.
Before I left on my business trip about 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had a brief conversation where I told him it's one of my worst fears to get cheated on while away from home because there's absolutely nothing I can do. Hey, Sophia, don't think about elephants.
It's too late. It's too late.
I just have to cope from afar. He admitted he may have used Tinder while I was gone. But once again, no messages, no meeting, nothing.
What do you mean he may have? He either did or he didn't. And we know he did.
Sophia, it's not that serious. He doesn't remember.
He said, I don't remember, but I could have used Tinder.
I may have.
I'm not quite sure. I forgot. There were a lot of messages.
It's not that serious, of course. His memory fades.
Memory fades. None of them were like you, babe.
Do you remember what you ate for lunch last week today?
Last Wednesday?
Just like that, it wasn't that big for
Probably
me. I don't
rice.
remember.
Yeah.
Since then, he showed me proof of making a therapy appointment. I can't.
We already know that he can make appointments.
I can't. Him throwing away all his vapes and his screen
How many
time.
vapes does he have?
He says he's going to send me pictures of his bank statements and screen time every week to prove he isn't buying more vapes. Like cash doesn't exist. That he is actually going to therapy and that he's going to reduce time spent on his phone and social media. He also sent me a huge apology, apologizing for everything he's ever done wrong, specifically naming each thing.
He's like, and I'm sorry for messaging Tina. And I'm also sorry for messaging Megan.
Yep.
I'm also sorry for that one time that I met up with Susan. And there's a couple more, so bear with me. It's going to take a while.
Yeah. I can name another thing he definitely didn't do.
What?
Watch more OK Storytime like you can do. All you got to go to is your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime, and boom, you can listen to more crazy stories just like this on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple.
Don't commit a sin like this, man.
Don't do it. I just don't understand the sudden effort now. We're broken up, and I'm pretty confident it's going to stay that way.
What do you mean pretty confident? What do you mean pretty confident?
If I get back with him, I don't know if I could ever fully trust him.
Don't get back with him.
He's asked us about going to couples therapy.
No.
And I told him that he needs to get therapy because there's no us anymore. Okay, OP. Okay. He says he's going to change and going to prove to me whether I block him or not. I don't see it working out. I have pretty bad insecurities and self-esteem issues. So this is unfortunately a tough situation for me. I'm trying to stick out what everyone told me and respect myself. Thank you all for the advice. My brain feels like it's filled with bees. So even though the answer may be clear to you guys, I was having a hard time seeing it. And edit, he is blocked.
Thank goodness.
Girl.
Proud of you.
Girl.
Proud of you, OP. I'm proud of you.
That's how you got to do it.
Block him. If someone is telling you that they're going on Tinder while they're dating you, bye. Bye. That's not your partner.
Dude.
That's Tinder's partner.
I haven't seen these kind of like gaslighting tips and tricks before.
The thing is that he didn't even really gaslight her. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing.
He kind of did.
I mean, besides like lying about how many people he was messaging, he admitted he was messaging people. Like he gaslit her and saying like, "Oh,
but
I'll
his
fix myself, I'll
reasoning and
change."
stuff.
Yeah, but like he just told her, and then he was like, "I don't know why I did it."
What's scary to me? The most scary thing here how easily he brought up these excuses
Yeah.
and he just kind of threw them out.
He was just like, yeah, I did it, but like, it doesn't matter.
This is a pro at work. This man has done this time and time and time again. Who knows? There might be 3 more of you out there he's talking to right now.
Yeah, probably. But folks, that's the end of that story and the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And
See you tomorrow.